Welcome back to The Explainer. You know, have you ever noticed that a toddler inherently knows when something isn't fair, and yet adults out there are constantly waging global wars? It's pretty wild to think about. Well, today, we are tackling this massive mystery of human behavior. We're jumping straight into some incredibly deep insights drawn from the encyclopedia of the prominent Arab thinker Ali Mohammed Al-Shurafa Al-Hammadi. We're going to unpack his analysis of this profound internal struggle we all have. Literally the ultimate battleground between our innate values and our constantly shifting interests. If you've ever looked at the world and wondered why it operates the way it does, this explainer is going to give you a super clear, structured framework to finally make sense of it all.
Okay, let's dive into this core question. Why does human nature universally agree on values, but vastly differ on interests? Think about it for a second. Deep down, the human soul just naturally finds comfort in justice. We all admire kindness, right? We feel reassured by honesty. And on the flip side, we universally reject oppression, betrayal, and treachery. It really doesn't matter where you're from. Human beings share this baseline. Yet, despite this shared love for justice and hatred for betrayal, our world is absolutely filled with intense, ongoing global conflicts. Why? What's causing this disconnect?
Section 1. Innate nature and values versus interests.
To answer our question, we really have to establish the fundamental dichotomy that drives every single human action, and this brilliantly illustrates the root of the problem. On one side, we have our values. Values are grand, they're universal, they're stable, and they are completely agreed upon by all of humanity. But on the other side, we have interests. And interests are a totally different story. They're highly variable, they're super subjective, they shift entirely depending on the person, the time, and the specific circumstances. What one person sees as a benefit, someone else might see as a direct harm. What builds up one nation could literally devastate another. So while our grand values stay universally agreed upon, it's our subjective, constantly shifting interests that ignite disputes and drive conflict.
Section 2. Inspiration of the soul and free will.
We've seen the macro problem of how interests divide us, but let's slow down for a minute and look at the divine blueprint of the human soul itself. The Quran addresses this exact human condition in a set of deeply comprehensive verses from Surah Ash-Shams. By the soul and he who proportioned it, and inspired it with discernment of its wickedness and its righteousness. He has succeeded who purifies it, and he has failed who instills it with corruption. These verses reveal a truth of immense importance. The human soul wasn't just left ignorant, wandering in the dark about what's good and what's evil. Instead, God explicitly inspired the soul to inherently recognize both paths. But notice the structure here. Divine inspiration alone does not guarantee success. The text leaves the ultimate outcome entirely up to free will.
Which brings us to this crucial term, tazkiyah, or purification. The Quran doesn't say success is merely having the knowledge of right and wrong. Success is tazkiyah. It is the active, conscious choice to elevate the soul. It happens when you actually respond to those innate values deposited within you, values like justice, mercy, and honesty. You succeed when you actively choose to purify your soul by aligning your actions with these grand values.
But there is an opposing choice, tasdiyah, or corruption. This is the failure of the soul. This occurs when an individual lets their immediate, fleeting interests completely override their innate values. It's the conscious decision to open the door to wickedness, simply to secure a temporary, selfish gain at the expense of a universal value. The distinction here makes it incredibly clear. Human beings are held fully responsible for the path they choose to walk.
So, the crucial point is this. This is the actual secret behind why both good and evil exist in human life. We aren't meant to simply surrender to wickedness. Good and evil exist so that we can exercise our free will. A value is not truly a value unless a human being chooses it willingly. Justice is only truly justice when it is consciously chosen over injustice, particularly when you have the power and the opportunity to be unjust. If you were forced to be good, goodness would completely lose its meaning. The struggle itself is the point.
Section 3. The human's battle with the self.
Because this grand theological concept isn't just theory, it plays out in our practical daily lives. The true battlefield is internal. Every single day you stand at a crossroads. Sure, sometimes the battle is just choosing between a salad or a donut for lunch. But on a deeper level, you face two distinct paths. Step 1, you can respond to those innate values of justice, mercy, and honesty to purify your soul and rise above. Or, Step 2, you can let immediate, fleeting interests win,
overriding those values and paving the way for corruption. So I have to ask you, O human, which of these two paths will you choose in your daily life? Will you let your immediate interests conquer your nature, or will you elevate your soul?
Section 4. Interests in the future of human civilizations.
Now let's zoom back out. Let's move to and see how this builds into the societal level. Because this highly intimate, personal, internal choice, it doesn't just affect you. It scales up. It dictates the fate of the entire world. The rise and fall of civilization strictly depends on the outcome of this battle. When grand values triumph over narrow interests, humanity is elevated. We see peace, stability, and progress. But whenever isolated selfish interests overpower those universal values, the immediate result is an increase in conflict, injustice, and global corruption. The math is simple, but the stakes are absolute.
This is exactly why thinker Ali Mohammed Al-Shurafa Al-Hammadi, through the project of the Risala al-Salam International Foundation, highlights this framework so strongly. He points to the higher purposes of the Quran as the ultimate value system needed to restore balance. And the beauty of this system is that it doesn't ask you to ignore your interests completely. Not at all. Rather, it provides the necessary balance between innate human nature and practical interests. It equips humanity with the moral compass required to consistently choose the path of purification over the path of corruption.
Section 5. Toward a global science of ethics.
Which brings us to our final and perhaps most fascinating point today. I want to leave you with this question to really think about. If our innate human nature, regardless of geography, culture, or time, shares a universal perception of these core values, can this shared human nature become the foundation for a new, global science of ethics? Could we build a universal ethical system based not on shifting, temporary interests, but on the permanent, innate values we all inherently recognize? It's an incredibly powerful proposition from Ali Mohammed Al-Shurafa Al-Hammadi, and it challenges us all to reflect on the future we want to build. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I hope this gives you a brand new lens through which to view the world.
مؤسسة رسالة السلام العالمية، رسالة إنسانية لعالم أكثر سلاماً.